Yeah.
It's live now. Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our new Caos talk. This time we have some very special guests. We have Carl and Sunday from the African company. It's Zasaka, right?
Correct.
And they're gonna tell us a little about their work, who they are, what they are working on, their main problems, working with social entrepreneurship in Africa, and so on. So, boys, you got the word.
All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm just gonna go right into screen share. And which one do I want again? Screen. Full screen. Good enough. Can everyone see what I'm seeing now? You should see a logo and the two of us.
Yes, we are seeing.
Okay, good, if slightly delayed. So, I'm from the US. My name is Carl. My background is in international agriculture. Well, first, domestic agriculture, by which I mean the US, and I grew up on a wheat farm in the Northwest. After that, I studied economics for a while, decided I didn't really want a desk job, moved to Cambodia. Um, And after traveling for quite some time, decided I wanted to get back to agriculture. Got my master's in ag development and technologies, kind of ag engineering. And in the course of that, ended up coming to Zambia and collaborating with Sunday on developing this company. So he can tell you a bit about himself.
Yeah, my name is Sunday Silungwe. The second name there is very catchy, very African. I hail from Zambia. I'm a Zambian native. My background is in development studies, and with inclination to economics. So I'm what you call a development economist. My passions have been in technology and innovation for long before getting my degree in development studies. So just right after development studies, I had a few courses that are related to innovations. I have community development. I have a bit of technology development as well. So I didn't grow up on a farm like Carl. I grew up more in the sort of what you call African urban, but with a very serious passion for technologies and development, and also I have a strong passion for agriculture development.
Mm-hmm. So, right now we share at least a place in common. We're both in Zambia, specifically a town called Chapata, which is in the east. So we're going to tell you a little bit of background on Zambia as well as the eastern province. This is the province that's highlighted here. In Zambia, 45% of children under 5 are considered malnourished. In the eastern province, it's 54. In Zambia, 92% of rural households grow maize. In the eastern province, it's 98. So they're even more reliant on this single staple crop. There are 6 Feed the Future projects from USAID in all of Zambia. All 6 are in the eastern province because they consider it a high priority area with a lot of poverty. The adjusted per capita income of Zambia is 1,278, but that's a bit misleading because there are huge income gaps between the rich and the poor, as well as the urban and the rural. 30% of the urban population is considered to be living in poverty versus 78% of the rural population. The poverty line is at 125 per day. This is where we are specifically, that place with the star. And this is what it looks like. It's a very beautiful place. We love living there. It's kind of a sprawling town about 30 kilometers from the Malawian border. And there are many other very beautiful inhabitants as well, like this guy. I'm going to switch gears for a bit here and back up to the roots of Zasaka, how we kind of came into this idea together. Sunday and I met at a month-long gathering called IDDS, or the International Development Design Summit. Sunday, maybe you can give a little background on it.
Yeah, so the International Development Design Summit is a hands-on summit that looks at taking ideas to the next level, involving what they call the co-creation. This is where you go into communities, you live with the communities and discover ideas that you can help them co-create into workable solutions for their daily problems. So IDDS is a brainchild of Amy Smith, who is a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the USA. So
every IDDS has about 50 participants. I think in our year, 10 were Zambian,
yes,
or that of the host country. So Sunday was one of those, and then there are all these other foreigners like myself who come in, and everybody has different perspectives, and that's part of what makes it so special. Some of the projects that year were aluminum waste processing, menstrual hygiene, childhood nutrition, waste management, charcoal processing, post-harvest storage, health ICT, and palm leaf processing. So I was selected for the post-harvest storage, and Sunday was on aluminum waste recycling. But more importantly for the history of our project, I guess we ended up being roommates. I'm going to skip that. Zasaka was actually born through looking at post-harvest issues during the day, during the course of this design summit, but then really through talking them out with the two of us in the evenings. It started with me and the other people on my team getting to understand the sector, to which Sunday and a lot of the other Zambians were a huge resource. This you saw before with the rural and urban poverty rates. What I didn't talk about with just a pure number of 78% is that that's the way it's been for 3 decades. This is essentially stagnant. And then really when you're talking about poverty, this backs up the statistic that 75% of the world's poor are farmers. So if you're focused on poverty, that's a pretty good place to begin. Knowing the sector means understanding the way that everything is kind of connected in the area in which you work. So for Zambia, we started looking at flows of product, of different grains. This is a bit abstract, but you can see that the Republic of South Africa is sending out a lot, as is Tanzania and the others. Zambia, DRC, Malawi, Mozambique, Zimbabwe. It's all these small grain flows that kind of shifts year to year. They could be importers, they could be exporters, and it makes it a very volatile and risky place for a smallholder farmer. This is the way it all connects. We went into the villages and tried to gather feedback, starting with where really is the problem in post-harvest loss, because post-harvest is a pretty big process. You're talking about the act of harvesting and everything that happens from that point on. So first you're cutting the maize down, you're stacking it in the field, you're waiting for it to dry. At that point it's open to pests. You're taking the cobs, storing them in a woven place, typically called a crib. Then there's the act of shelling. After shelling, you're looking to store for anywhere between a week and 10 months until you can start having maize again. There's the trip to the market, which can also be a cause of loss, and then there's time at the market where the buyer might try and cheat you. So there are all these different steps, and when you start with something big, the first thing you have to do is narrow it down. What we found actually is that looking at post-harvest loss took us into a lot of other parts of agriculture, including how much in the same soil, essentially. So a matter of recognizing not enough is grown, too much is lost. The estimate is that's up to 250 kilograms for 1 hectare. Farmers go through this cycle every year, and it creates something like this, where you can see the maize price throughout the season or throughout the year peaks until harvest time, at which point it drops. And what you see in the middle there is what's called the hunger season, where farmers have sold off all their maize, nothing is ready for green harvest, and quite literally they're hungry. So in the course of IDDS, we refined and generated different prototypes and ended up with something like this, which is very much a bit of a recreation of a traditional technology. We were looking at hermetic storage, or storing without, storing by cutting off access to oxygen. So we worked with these earthen bins, made them a little more secure, and the impact is to be determined. It's interesting when you're working with all these traditional materials, you have people coming in from outside the country for the most part, or at least outside of the rural areas, who haven't worked with these materials before. We'd be more familiar with plastic or welding metals, and then we're trying to work with wood and don't know which ones are resistant to termites. So it's really a blending of local knowledge and a mix of local and international innovation. Our bins are still there, will be in use again this year, but they won't be in use hermetically. They'll be in use with chemicals inside them, which is one of the main things we were trying to avoid. So, I've been talking a lot. Sunday, you can talk about how we saw a different opportunity with PICS.
Yeah. So, in our search for post-harvest technologies that would actually be workable for the farmers, we came across what's called the Purdue Improved Crop Storage Bag. These are basically hermetic storage bags that are airtight and do not allow any exit or inflow of oxygen or any other gases that would allow the pests like weevils or the larger green borer to actually survive in there. Post-harvest loss is a great deal here, like Carl mentioned. It affects a lot of small-scale farmers, including government storage. So this bag provides a good solution for protection of grain, especially here we have maize. We have different kinds of beans and legumes, and those are susceptible to a lot of pests. Some of them get attacked whilst they're on the field, and as you store them, the attack continues, and people actually face close to about 50% of loss of their grain if stored in very open areas. So the bag just allows you to store that grain, even in smaller quantities or larger quantities. It's produced in 50 kgs or 100 kgs. And the technology has been so far spread to the communities that we work in. We actually give these to our links in the communities for selling, and we'll be explaining just a little bit of that as we go on.
Mm-hmm. So just to summarize, we began with this IDDS summit, which put us on a process of finding exactly where the needs are according to the communities we were working in. We, from there, developed a product that's very similar to kind of a traditional solution to this problem of post-harvest loss coming from molds and insects. We then began to look at scale and what impact our solution or the traditional solution was having, and determined that we could probably find a different technology that could go further, faster, and really address the issue as the farmers had stated it. From there, we started to think like a business. Okay, what does it mean, really, to be able to store your maize for that long? It means that you can actually begin to buy at May and June and August when prices are lower. And you now have the capacity to store and sell when prices are higher. So for someone that's coming in from the outside, this is fairly easy to do. And in fact, it's something that a lot of crop traders already do in Zambia. For a smallholder farmer, it's not easy to do, mostly because of access to credit and the need to eat the food that's available. So it's one thing to have the technology that lets you store it, and you don't have the 17% loss, but it's another to really live this, what seems like a simple business model. Pause for a minute and talk about the size of the market that we're looking at. There are 1.6 or 1.7 million smallholder farmers in Zambia. A smallholder is defined as anything under 20 hectares, but you can see from the breakdown below that only 4% have between 5 and 20 hectares. 24% have between 1.7 and 5 hectares, and 72% of these farmers have 0.3 to 1.7 hectares, which is very small. It's truly a small holding. And now we're going to go back to where we began and talk about what we do now. We have essentially two parts. We have a technology side, which began with PICS, and we have a farm production and extension education side. So, beginning with technology. Our work here is all about access. We believe that there are a lot of technologies already in existence, like the storage bag we mentioned, that just face a problem of distribution. Like they really don't need a whole lot of tweaking, but people just can't get their hands on them. Along with that, there are more problems that need to be addressed with an IDDS creative style solution. So we're both a distribution and marketing company and a design house, which still relies on these tenets of co-creation. So we currently have two products that we're selling, the Purdue Improved Crop Storage Bag and the Universal Nutsheller, which you see on the left here. And in the next 3 months, we have an engineer coming down to work with us from Kenya. We're hoping to fill it out with a third model, hand crank maize sheller, and then a number of smaller products which are also available on the Zambian market. We'll really begin our own design heading into, well, first modifying these products so that they fit farmers' needs as they express them to us, and then two, looking at the planting season that's coming up. Maybe you can talk about what we've done with PICS so far and some of the things we've learned.
Okay. Yeah, so technology distribution is one of our core priorities as a business. We try to look at how we can actually reach these technologies to farmers. And our first, or should I say, breaking ice technology was the PICS. And we just basically tried to look around for ways and proper networks in which we can distribute these technologies to the farmers. Like we said, these are post-harvest bags, and they had to be timed in such a manner that they reach the farmers when they are doing their harvest, and also in need of these bags. So for the PICS bags, we identified partner organizations that we're working with around, and these partner organizations already have working structures with the farmers in the rural communities. So one of these is the Catholic Relief Services, acronym CRS. They have a project here which is called the MAWA project. And with this MAWA project, it's basically a project that looks at different parts of different structures of the communities and different needs. One of them being agriculture and having post-harvest as one of their tenants. So we looked at their network and how we could actually supply these post-harvest bags to them. So they have a structure of agricultural field agents who exist in each of the core communities that they work in. And these field agents have a list of farmers that they work with. Each of them is handling about 400 farmers in total. So we thought that's a great opportunity to actually supply these because we are both a business and also we're looking at the social needs of these communities. So we supplied with each of these field agents with the PICS bags to help them market them for us. But before that, we also took them through the trainings on how to use these bags, on how to take care of them, and also possibly how to teach other farmers on how to use the same bags. So after distributing them, the farmers were actually link persons in these communities, and they were able to sell these bags for us.
So between June of last year and November of this year, we sold about 1,900 bags and distributed more for trials that we have going now, or demonstrations more like, where these same lead farmers will fill the bags with their own maize, seal it with a number of people watching, and then about a month from now, when the maize is coming close to ready, they'll open it up and demonstrate the efficacy of the bags. We learned a lot through this, particularly because we were working with a very low margin product. So you can see here that it costs 17 Zambian kwacha per bag. That's about $2.60. And we don't make very much on that per bag. So we were trying to cover a massive rural area with 2 employees, 1 vehicle, and then all these field agents we were trying to reach, and we were spread extremely thin. So I think one thing that Sunday and I agree on is if we were to start it all over, we would have started with a much smaller trial and just kind of ramp up as demand grew, instead of trying to touch everything that this partner we identified was touching. Yeah, we're still going with the PICS bags, but now they're complemented by different higher margin products like the nutsheller you see at the left. And we just spent a day in the community. This picture is from today. And it's a very cool product. It's simple. What you see is their cast concrete. We brought over fiberglass molds from the US, then cast it here, manufacture the metal parts. And it's 600 Zambian kwacha is the price that we're looking to list it at first. It's capable of shelling about 40 times faster than what most smallholders do, which is shelling by hand. And the enthusiasm today when we were demonstrating this with farmers was pretty incredible. From there, we're trying to grow into a year-round technology company, but also getting into other farmers' needs. One of my inspirations here is the Sears Roebuck catalog, which is kind of the way that rural America became connected to the products that they needed. A catalog that showed all the different products they could have, that really focused on price, that made it so that they didn't have to become price takers when they went to these general stores, but instead had an ability to see a different way of life, to imagine, to wish, and to dream about these different products. So our plan is to show a wide array of things that really fit the rural life here, and bring them one step closer to all these farmers. The other side, the Extensionpreneur program is, I don't know if it's near and dear to our hearts, but it's much more direct agriculture. This guy in the yellow shirt is our first extensionpreneur, which means he is an extension agent that operates entrepreneurially, which is kind of a novelty here. He's trained by us, by Zasaka, in agriculture a little bit, but more in how to teach, how to connect with these farmers. And we have an entire program in place, which I wish I had more time to outline, but Zasaka provides inputs on loan to a group of farmers. This year we started with 40. We learned our lesson from PICS and did choose a size that I think we find very manageable. By inputs, I mean seed and fertilizer. The loan is in exchange for maize. So the farmers pay half the price of the seed and fertilizer up front with last year's maize and half the price in maize at the coming harvest. The farmers welcome the idea of paying in maize because cash is very limited this time of year, most times of year, but especially now when they're getting ready to plant. So Zasaka, this gentleman in the yellow here, was selected as an extensionpreneur who facilitates the entire program. He delivers trainings weekly. He's a link for the community, a person who can answer their questions as their crops begin to mature. What am I missing? And Zasaka is also compensated by the crops that are produced. So he gets a percentage of the crops that are harvested through our program. Though I mentioned that the payment for the loans was in maize, one of the things we're trying to do is actually move away from this entirely maize-dependent culture and bring in a little more ideas of land health. So the farmers that work with us grow 50% of their land in maize and 50% of their land in legumes. And sometimes they grow them together on the same piece of land, which gives an opportunity to get more nutrition and more income off the same tract of land. Well, the early results we've seen are very positive. A lot of it comes down to technique, access to these inputs, and that's basically it, actually. Mostly technique and timing. So at the right, you can see the field that we're working with this farmer Monica on, and at left is the field where she planted her traditional methods. Sunday, you want to add something about the rates?
Yeah, basically, for us to choose extensionpreneurs, we looked at the ratios of extension officers in the country at large compared to the ratios that we could actually handle. The ratios here are really pathetic in that we are looking at one extension officer looking at about 3,000 farmers, which is outrageous. One extension officer cannot see 3,000 farmers, not even in a given season. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. And in that process, a lot of people that would have gained, a lot of farmers that would have gained important information would have lost out. So we thought of identifying some of the areas, rural areas that are around the province here that lack such kind of professionals. And in those areas, we identified people that we could call our extensionpreneurs. So these are basically extension officers, or should I say, extension technicians or experts that also have shared entrepreneurial values. They are basically entrepreneurs as well. So these are looking at small numbers of people that they can actually easily handle. People that they can monitor on a day-to-day basis. People that they could also interact and become practically, professionally close to. People that the farmers can easily run to ask for advice on budgeting, on crop for a year or for a month or something like that. People they can share their information and plans about their expected markets or yields, that sort of thing.
So our job is really to facilitate the growth of these entrepreneurial extension agents. We expect them to grow from about 40 farmers in their first year of operation to 80 in the second to 200 in the third. And that's about where they'll stay. But really that puts them at an extremely high income relative to most people in the area, but we expect that they earn it. And we also just try and spread this idea of possibility that, you know, between the technologies and techniques and finally access to capital, that farming can change, that it doesn't have to be the exact same as it was before. I think that's all we have lined up, and we're actually running low on internet, it sounds like. So we can begin with questions. I know we threw a lot at you guys, and would love to hear feedback.
So now we're gonna open to the questions. We have some other special guests as well. We are down here with our curators from the Curadoria project, and they would like to make some questions for you guys. Who would like to make the first question? You guys are muted, okay, because of the connection.
I can have first questions. In fact, I had to, just to summarize what I understood, and you guys tell me if I'm right. And after that, I can ask my questions. In fact, today your business model is based on 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 that storage that you made and sell other crop. You said it's from IDTS, and you are selling these items too, and you are preparing those extensionpreneurs to spread techniques and to sell your products at the same time. So it's a mixed model with this extensionpreneur that work with you, but they are a kind of entrepreneur himself, and also you guys produce the bag and the crop thing and sell through him. So
There are a lot.
I understood that. You understood, guys? I'm not listening, Carl.
I guess their connection is pretty bad now. It's all black here for me.
Yeah, they're freezed. So maybe fugiu.
Yeah, they said they were having connection problems.
Tá? Bom, a gente pode, sim, enquanto eles não aparecem, conversar o que a gente entendeu. Então, assim, na verdade, o que eu entendi.
They're here. Or no?
Here?
Okay. No, it's just because it congelou aqui. It froze. Não. Vamos conversar.
Bom, então, na verdade, o que eu falei para ele, que eu tinha entendido era, na verdade, eles têm um grande trabalho com esse empreendedor de extensão, que é eu não sei falar essa palavra em inglês, eu acabei não fazendo essa relação, mas é tipo um franqueado, mas ao mesmo tempo ele é empreendedor, ele, na verdade, ele vai, na verdade, educando os fazendeiros, passando conhecimento de agricultura no geral, várias técnicas que eles têm, mas no final das contas, o que eles vendem mesmo são aqueles bags para armazenar a comida, porque eles tiveram... Isso, e o crop sheller, exato, eu estava perdendo o nome dele. E esse crop sheller, ele é um Ele é um dispositivo que foi feito no IDDS, e que na verdade não foram eles que inventaram, quem foi inventado no IDDS, e eles estão como se fosse revendendo, ou pegando a tecnologia, refazendo e vendendo através da empresa deles. Então, me parece que o produto principal é o bag lá, que eles deram, e eles estão fazendo uma cartela de novos produtos relacionados com outros empreendedores, inovadores sociais, que eles vão pegando através da rede de inovadores sociais deles do mundo. Mas que uma boa parte do modelo está baseado nessa educação relacionada ao empreendedor que faz a extensão, né? Foi isso que eu entendi. Eu não sei se tem mais coisa aí. O que vocês entenderam? E depois a gente faz as perguntas para ele.
Eu não entendi isso também. Desculpa. E que agora eles estão, na verdade, olhando para outras necessidades dos agricultores ali locais. Eles estão criando uma espécie de banco comunitário, né? Eles estão começando empréstimos também para agricultores e tentando mudar essa questão da cultura da maize, né? Eles estão tentando, acho que, fazer com que os agricultores cultivem outros tipos de produtos também. Eu não sei se eu entendi mal isso.
Também é.
E alterando um pouco da própria técnica de cultivo deles, né, para que eles se tornem mais produtivos. O que eu entendi foi isso.
Essa sacola que eles criaram dos bags é vinculada a uma universidade também, né? Ou não? O que eu entendi é que eu entrei no site também desse né? Aí aparece que foi um estudo feito em parceria com a faculdade, mas eu não entendi essa parte. Eu acho que
Normalmente, só para contextualizar vocês, porque a gente está muito acostumado com essa sigla, o IDDS, né? O IDDS é o International Design Development Summit. O IDDS ele é um evento que acontece anualmente. Ele, na verdade, foi idealizado pela Amy Smith. Ele explicou isso rapidamente no começo. A Amy Smith é do D-Lab do MIT. E ela tem uma conexão, uma rede muito forte com diversas outras universidades do mundo. E a maioria desses DDS que acontecem fora, às vezes até dos Estados Unidos, então teve alguns que já aconteceram em Gana, teve já alguns em Zâmbia, eles são feitos em relação com universidades e a população local. Então, normalmente você junta designers do mundo inteiro durante um mês, que vão nessa localidade, em Zâmbia, ou em Gana, ou em outras localidades, fazem um processo imersivo de design, de entendimento das necessidades, de criação de solução e de adaptação para aquela região. E eles, na verdade, se conheceram no IDDS, né, os dois. Eles não chegaram a trabalhar juntos nesse IDDS, e aí depois eles resolveram se juntar, não sei se para criar essa sacola, se eles fizeram parte da criação dela, ou se simplesmente eles adaptaram algum projeto que já tinha para a Zâmbia, onde eles fizeram aquele protótipo em barro, não sei o quê, e depois eles fizeram a sacola na real. Então, assim, contextualizando o IDDS e a questão das universidades, e um pouco do que eu entendi da história deles também.
Tem que adicionar eles de novo, né, Raquel?
Oi?
Tem que adicionar eles de novo, né, ou não?
Não se preocupe, é isso que eu tô falando com ele. Parece que o Google Hangouts deu um kick neles. Então eu tô aqui vendo como é que eu posso adicioná-los, só que eles não estão encontrando no e-mail.
Eles não estão... Nossa, o mesmo problema que deu com o pessoal, sei lá. Bem na hora que a gente... Bom, pelo menos eles conseguiram terminar a apresentação. Menos mal.
Serve de consolo.
Ele tá aqui, aparecendo como pedido. O Raquel, fala pra ele clicar na câmerazinha, igual a gente falou antes, tipo, no chat. Tipo...
Então, o problema é que ele não tá achando essa sala do chat, mesmo eu enviando a mensagem pra ele.
O Emanuel tava com esse problema também.
Eu mandei pra ele e ele falou que não recebe. Aí eu falei pra ele entrar pelo Google, ou pelo Google Plus ao invés do Gmail.
Entendi. Vamos ver, se for o caso, a gente faz o seguinte, gente. A gente cria uma série de perguntas aqui. E aí, Raquel, se você pudesse comprometer depois em repetir as perguntas e gravar e a gente juntar os dois vídeos, a gente faz esse vídeo. Então a gente faz as perguntas que interessariam pra gente. Vamos ver se eles ainda aparecem. E a gente dá um jeito de dar uma juntada nos vídeos e aí depois a gente vê como responde as nossas perguntas. O que vocês acham, gente?
É uma opção. Uhum, pode ser. Até para quem não tem direito ver o texto um pouco mais calma e formular perguntas mais concretas, né? Foi o meu caso, por exemplo. Eu acompanhei mais pelas figurinhas.
O inglês às vezes é difícil, né? Só
Não,
falar.
o professor estava dando eco mesmo.
Eco, tá.
A primeira parte eu consegui ouvir legal. Daí chegou uma parte ali que travou. A partir dali ficou com eco.
O som não estava muito claro.
Se vocês perceberam que teve uma parte que começou a falhar mesmo o som.
Sim.
E daí depois disso ficou com eco, pelo menos pra mim. Não voltou ao normal. Antes estava legal, depois ficou zoado.
Quanto ao inglês, eu tive dificuldade de entender o que o Sunday estava falando, às vezes. Eu tenho...
Mas aí
mas
conta de sotaque, né? Isso não tem jeito.
Porque o sotaque dele é zambiano, né?
Um sotaque africano é diferente. Né?
O que eu achei bem interessante da apresentação deles foi justo mostrar como a origem, né, de como eles viram essa oportunidade e abraçaram ela para abrir a empresa. Tipo, eu não sabia que tinha tido início do IDDS.
Sim.
Eu enxergo sempre. Fala aí, menino.
Não, pode falar, professor.
Não, eu enxergo sempre essas coisas de uma forma muito interessante sobre a ótica do design em parceria, né? Então, assim, mesmo que o Caos quisesse fazer isso por ele mesmo, ou seja, ele não tendo alguém local, é muito complicado. Então, assim, para entender a cultura, para avançar nessa cultura, então é extremamente necessário ter alguém para fazer esse link. Então, uma das coisas que o Miguel, meu sócio, fala muito, nem só tradução, mas tem uma relação de empatia muito forte, a conexão, e o cara ser sócio, né? Não é o cara ser seu ajudante, tem que ser seu sócio na empresa. Então, eu acho isso para mim no design para social é uma das grandes chaves, é uma das coisas que faz a coisa funcionar de verdade, porque muitas iniciativas vem uma iniciativa meio de fora para dentro e aí acaba sendo inócuo, né? Então, essa é uma das coisas que eu acho mais interessante disso.
Sim, essa apresentação para mim lembrou muito o meu trabalho de formatura. Eu trabalhei fazendo uma espécie de link entre o MST e o INCRA. Legal. E o projeto não foi para frente como a gente gostaria, justamente por isso, porque mesmo eu tentando fazer um link ouvindo as duas partes, eu ainda era uma pessoa de fora.
Bem polêmico esse tema, hein?
Sim, na verdade foi por parte da construção das casas deles, né? Na época eu fiz o projeto, foi em 2004, e o INCRA procurou a gente, né, para fazer esse projeto, porque eles oferecem para cada assentado R$5.000 para construir a casa. Mesmo há 10 anos atrás, R$5.000 não era nada. Então, o nosso desafio era justamente ouvir o MST para descobrir como seria possível fazer o mínimo necessário com esses R$5.000, e foi daí que a gente propôs começar com um núcleo e depois fazer a casa evoluindo conforme o trabalho deles.
mas acabou tendo muita resistência por conta de sermos um elemento de fora e ter partido do INCRA e não do MST.
Acho que ele voltou.
And then you're back! Aê!
Muito legal, mas muito legal, muito legal.
Isso é bem
Bom, pessoal, vamos partir para...
So, we are back?
Back
Wow.
to the question now.
A lot of technological ground.
So
Thanks for
I was finishing my question. It was just if I understood your model, your not exactly business model, but the model of the whole enterprise. It's based on the extensionpreneur that works as a kind of entrepreneur and consulting in all agriculture process from planting to harvest, and I don't know if his partner is a partner of your enterprise, or is he's just a personal that it's completely free. But as I understood, you guys sell exactly the bags and the crop sheller, and do you have a fabric to produce the seller and the bag, and you sell through the extensionpreneur, or you have your own space to sell it? How it works? I didn't understood the whole model.
Sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a mix. So we have two sides. We have the technology side, which is very big in terms of people reached, and then we have the crop side, which is very small at the moment. So the extensionpreneur is focused on the crop side, and he also sells technologies, but it's a small part of what he does. The biggest part is helping people produce more, better crops. And then, as a company, we have two revenue streams, essentially. The first is through the sale of technologies, and the second is through crops that we buy from these farmers that work with the extensionpreneur.
Okay.
We buy them
Okay.
and resell them. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
yeah,
you
it's
work
a bit
as
confusing how they overlap.
you work also as agglutinating all the production of these farmers, and you can sell it in a more scalable manner. So you can
Yeah.
you work
So
also as a cool.
yeah, specifically we buy and resell the crops that we want to encourage, the ones that we think are good for soil health and that help farmers diversify. So we don't buy and sell maize. The only maize we have is from the loan that we provide for fertilizer and seed. Maize is, I think you guys say maize, but Americans say corn. So maize, corn, the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. We guys here were talking about what we understood about the presentation, and one thing that we all said it was about the interesting way of working in a co-creation stuff, and the importance of work in co-creation and have Sunny as Sunday as your entrepreneur partner, we would like to understand you guys, your point of view about this coalition, this co-creation from outside, from inside. What do you think it's about the success of your entrepreneurship? I love it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first, I think Sunday is inherently more entrepreneurial than I am. He's been starting ventures since, I don't know, before he wore glasses. So
That's a good one.
for me, it was never very natural, actually. I think my instinct is more on philanthropic side, I guess. I've always been interested in helping people in different ways and working towards a social mission, but I didn't actually get involved in the business angle of it until this particular issue of post-harvest loss, when I've helped develop this solution that worked fairly well, but couldn't get anywhere because it didn't have business behind it. So that's a good backup to the question, but then working together and how we co-create or collide is a bit interesting. I think one example that strikes me a lot is when we're in business meetings together, and Sunday is very attuned to the social situations in Zambia, the subtle hierarchies that are in place, the way that you act differently towards elder Zambians, who you can push a little bit and who you can't. I think I'm a little more direct and hard-nosed, and it actually makes for a very effective team, I think, where I can kind of push the issue and then he can apologize for me and make everything work well. What else do you think? I don't know.
Yeah, I think basically, I would put it as Caos has got bits and pieces that I don't have, and I have bits and pieces of what he also has. I have, of course, like you said, a bit of enterprise background, starting from maybe even like before my high school days. I would try out small businesses, fail. I would start up small ideas, try to convince myself that these would work, and eventually fail. Some succeeded and turned out to be helpful small ventures. But then I met Carl, who looked at it on a more of a bigger picture and says, how do we, intertwine our ideas into making them a reality, but not only a reality for ourselves or for our pockets, but then how do we also reach out to the farmers that are out there to be helped out? Then looking at their problems, mainly which was post-harvest. And then my side of things, I think, has been to look at it how it can actually work within the Zambian society, and then Caos' expertise come to to cream the top. Caos' technical expertise, mostly in agriculture and business, coming to now basically fill in all those gaps that we're missing. Like, how do we finance such a thing? How do we actually work technically on it? What are we looking at if we're looking at diversifying? Are we going to look at a crop that's just going to be a crop, or are we going to look at a crop that's going to be marketable, leaving our farmers with something, or leaving our farmers with skills? So, weighing all those options. I think he's been a very great partner. I enjoy working with him, and he's more of a friend.
We are roommates too.
We are housemates, so
we spend a lot of time together.
Partners and roommates. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Our home is actually our office at the moment.
Thanks. I will let the others ask questions if they want. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dio.
Good question.
Yeah. Does anybody want? If anybody wants to make a question?
Yes, I would like to know since when you were in Zambia, settled in Zambia, and how was your first approach to the farmers there? If they were receptive, open to your consultation, and how do you approach them when you started the business in Zambia?
Yeah, it's still, I'd say that's an ongoing thing. So I came in last June with IDDS, that was June 2013, and that time it was, a bit warm and fuzzy, because when you come and someone else is running the program, it's not that difficult. Everything's pre-arranged, everyone knows you're arriving, all of that. And then I came back next in April, because Sunday and I had been talking about this business for about 10 months, but I hadn't been back. We wanted to do some ground testing. That was also fine. I never really was on my own. And then in June, came back, and that was the first time I would say I got in front of the farmers and started talking about the technologies, and I was nervous. I was very nervous. I had no idea how I was being perceived. I couldn't understand what people were saying, and I'd worked in lots of foreign countries before, but this felt a little different. It had much more of my name and on the line and ideas. So that was tough, and I just got used to it over time. One thing I love now, every Wednesday we go to this site where we're working with the entrepreneurial. We check in on things, we help with trainings, get feedback, and that's allowed a different kind of relationship where, because we go every week, we're working with 40 farmers, it's much more personal. I have my own nickname because I can't say my American name. I know all of them. I know their fields. I've given, guidance on what they can do to improve their crops. They love to have it, and it's just been fun to grow that relationship with a purpose.
Nice.
Now we have two last questions. There's one that Emily posted here. It is, what were the biggest challenges you guys faced in dialogue with the community?
Mm-hmm. Well, the obvious one for me was language, but I don't think that was really the biggest challenge. I think we came in with a somewhat complex idea, as Diogo articulated before. I mean, it has a lot of pieces to it, and trying to articulate that in front of a lot of people with a slight language barrier, because even Sunday, I mean, there are so many languages in Zambia that it's very hard to speak it perfectly to everyone. I mean, there are how many languages?
There are over 72.
Yeah, so even Sunday was he would miss a word, and we're trying to articulate all this stuff. There's nothing you can hand out that's written because about 80% of the people we work with are illiterate. So it just took a while to get down the nuts and bolts of the program, and then get their ideas back to us, and then adjust. And then the first month leading up to planting was very challenging. And here, what you're really up against is the rains. The rains are coming. It's been dry for about 5-6 months. Everyone's very excited to get to the rains. We're trying to introduce this new planting technique. You're not sure if your instructions are very clear, but more importantly, or just as importantly, you want to make sure they understand the program, so they're not getting into a loan they don't understand. That initial stage was a huge hurdle.
Okay. I have a question that is. Oh, sorry, Emily, you want to make a question?
No.
It's because it's just trying to make a comparison between Zambia and some part of Brazil. It's because here the entrepreneurial culture sometimes looks like a trend that we're pursuing for some time now. And I was thinking, in Africa, how does that work? I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm there, I'm going, like in the United States, I'm going to a venture capitalist, I'm going to make my pitches, and I'm going to raise funds, and whatever. So I think it's something more hands-on. And how does the implementation of your work works in Zambia?
I think it's something we're still figuring out, and it's challenging because that year that I was still in the U.S. but thinking about this venture, I had a lot of time to go the American route and start pitching it to people. So we still have some of those avenues that we're pursuing in a very American way. These venture capitalists or angel investors who want us to do a full 6-year valuation. We want everything broken down very cleanly, very neatly, and we do that. I mean, that'll probably be our second stage of major investment will be from an angel investor. We're in conversations with a number, and once we can prove our idea a little bit further, probably in the next couple of months, we'll be talking to them about enough money to carry us through years 2 and 3. So the African side of it, I wouldn't say we've figured out yet.
Yeah. Basically, the African side of things, we look at enterprises. Let me say we view it from the capital startup capital side of things, where you earn some kind of cash or through your skill or whatever service you want to provide. Before even that, sometimes you have to have some kind of cash. There are a number of loans, but very restricted to solely Zambian entrepreneurs. So with our kind of a mixture, Caos being American and also me being the native Zambian, it's very hard to catch some of those opportunities. But I think there are some opportunities that we're trying to look up to. There are some corporate opportunities out there that we haven't just entered into. We'll be looking into those soon. But then, of course, the entrepreneurial side of things over here is very open. It's a vibrant community of people in the country. There's a big number of people that are venturing into enterprise, depending on what skills they have, ideas they have, and also what passions they actually share.
One thing that I love about living here is I would say about 80% of people are either farmers who are entrepreneurs in a way or just entrepreneurs. I mean, they run their own stores, they run their own shops. There's none of this talk about major corporations or anything. It's small, family-run operations everywhere. And what Sunday was alluding to before, there's none of this idea of venture capitalists and equity. If you fail, you're broke. That's just the way it works. Like, there's no bailout, there's no anything. So people will save up. They'll feel very strongly about what they're getting into. They'll put everything into it. And they got to make money pretty quickly, because you can't take out a loan without a very significant cost of capital. The interest rates are high.
This is real entrepreneurship.
High. And yes, yeah, yeah, it's the real deal over here. And
it's like easy mode and hard mode, right?
What's that?
It's like easy mode and hard mode. You guys just work on hard mode.
Yeah, it is the hard mode. It really is. So it's inspiring and it's very cool to see.
No, nice. We've come to our 1 hour long Google Talk, Caos Talk. I'm really sorry for the connection problems and everything that happened. And thank you very much for your participation. If you guys want to post anything, any reference link, the presentation, just talk to us and we post on Facebook and on the Google event page. And that's it.
Raquel, a gente precisa descobrir jeito de bater palma. We have to clap. I don't know how to clap.
There is an app here, but I couldn't find.
Thank you. Back at you guys. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was great to connect with Brazil in this way. I feel like I learned a bit about the technology.
I know there is an app for clapping outside the hangout for the audience. They can clap if they want.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Bye, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.